So what happens when a god loses everything? I mean, after 500 years of insane power, one man is about to find out. And his whole journey? It starts with a single step: finding a new place to call home.
Hello! Welcome back to our channel.
Today, we're jumping right back into the saga of Cameron with episode 11, Up to Moon Mountain. Now, after that reunion with his daughter, which was, a total mixed bag, our former immortal finds himself completely and utterly alone, facing a world that's just moved on without him. And that forces the ultimate question, right? After half a millennium of pretty much immeasurable power, how does a god even begin to start over on Earth? He's lost his abilities, he's trying to navigate a world he barely recognizes, and yeah, he needs a plan, like yesterday. You can imagine, the silence left by his daughter Emily, it's gonna be deafening. But instead of just falling into despair, Cameron finds this new, steely resolve. He knows he can't just drift through this new life. No, he has to reclaim his power, and that starts with finding a sanctuary, a home base for his impossible comeback. So his first mission is to access what's known as the refining realm. Okay, think of it like level 1 on this long climb back to godhood. It's a state where he can start honing his divine skills again, basically supercharging his human abilities to get faster, stronger, and way more resilient. And the key to unlocking this first level? It all comes down to finding the perfect piece of land. And his method for finding this perfect spot is, well, it's anything but simple. At each and every location he scouts, he has to perform this grueling ritual. He takes a sliver of the divine heavenly tree and actually forces it into a vein in his forearm, using his own blood to kind of taste the energy of the land. I mean, talk about a painful, intimate connection with the earth. So he gets to his first destination, this small peak about an hour from the city. He goes through the whole agonizing process and he feels the energy start to flow. He can sense the life in the flowers, the grass. It definitely has potential, but it's just not quite right. See, his ambition is basically infinite. He needs a place that can support not just this first step, but his entire journey back to being a god. This place, it's just a starting block. He needs the entire racetrack. So he pushes on. He heads to the second spot, then the third, on this desperate pilgrimage down the valley toward the coast. But every single time, the result is exactly the same. That painful communion with the land, a brief flicker of hope, and then disappointment. And with each new location, this thought just echoes in his mind, like a mantra of his growing desperation. He knew this wasn't going to be easy, but these repeated failures are more than just discouraging, they're physically breaking him down. You have to remember, every time he connects with that heavenly wood, it's like a piece of him is siphoned away. He's not an infinite well of power anymore. His face becomes ashen, just this pale mask of pure exhaustion. This search is taking a toll he might not be able to pay. Finally, after a long, draining day, he gets to the last spot on his list, New Moon Mountain. It's situated on this beautiful crescent-shaped bay. It's a world-famous resort, and, as it turns out, it's some of the most expensive real estate on the entire planet. With the absolute last dregs of his strength, he performs the ritual one final time. He closes his eyes, takes a ragged breath, and this time, something is different. Amidst the usual smells of the earth, a new fragrance emerges. It's rich, complex, like a fine vintage wine. It's the scent of pure potential. His eyes snap open, and this triumphant laugh just escapes him. He's found it. It's not just fertile land. Oh no, it's something far more valuable. It's spirit water. So what exactly is spirit water? Well, in the divine world, it's a pretty foundational substance. On its own, it's not even a true spirit treasure. But for Cameron, right here, right now, it is everything. With the help of the heavenly tree, he can transform this basic water into a powerful substance that can literally jumpstart his journey into the refining realm. But the combination of the day's brutal exertion and the overwhelming shock of his discovery, it's just too much for his now mortal body. His eyes roll back and he just collapses, out cold. Sometime later, he's woken up by a dog nipping at his shoulder. He opens his eyes and sees this large stray, one with a lame back leg, that's been trying to drag his unconscious body to safety. It's this strange, gentle moment of connection, just a little reminder of the simple kindness that still exists in a world he's really struggling to understand. As he sits up, though, the true cost of his success becomes terrifyingly clear. He is in a really bad way. His face and lips have this bluish tint, he's shivering uncontrollably, his breathing is shallow and his pulse is dangerously weak. He won, but man, it was by the skin of his teeth. But despite that physical toll, the mission was a success. He now knows that deep within New Moon Mountain, there's a cave holding that small pool of spirit water he so desperately needs. His foundation is finally secure.
But this whole brutal experience has taught him a lesson he absolutely cannot afford to forget. He's not immortal anymore. He couldn't even block a bullet. So what does a god do when he's forced to play by mortal rules? Well, he plans his next move very, very carefully.
But before he can even think about starting his work on New Moon Mountain, there's a loose end he needs to tie up. A little detour into his very recent past. He's going to visit the mansion he built and then abandoned 7 years ago, a place ominously known as the Pit. Which leaves us with a pretty fascinating question, doesn't it? He's a changed man, and he's returning to a place that's basically been frozen in time. What memories, what challenges, and what surprises is he going to find waiting for him at the mansion he abandoned all those years ago?
If you're as excited as I am to see what happens next, please like and share it, and of course, subscribe to the channel to watch future episodes.
Thanks for watching.